So the Steam Spring Sale is finally upon us, and with that being said, there are plenty of great games with a hefty discount. No matter if you're into games that you can bond with your friends, games with a heavy engaging world, or games with jolly characters, I believe there'll be something that will spark your interest. So today, I'll be sharing some must-play games worth checking out in the Steam Spring Sale of 2025. Let's check it out. So let's start out with Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. This game was $60, but with a 50% discount, it is now $30. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. It is an action ninja game which takes place around the 1500s in ancient Japan, where during that time there is a constant life and death conflict. In this game, there are tons of merciless enemies to fight in an unforgiving world with really tough, engaging bosses. In this game, you play as a disgraced and disfigured shinobi, aka a ninja, who must go on a mission to save his lord who got captured and basically restore his honor. So yeah, this is a game that is really hard and where it is also really punishing, so I would not recommend if it is for somebody who is not that great at gaming or is a beginner in gaming. But if you are somebody who loves games that are challenging, as well as if you love games that blend stealth and face-to-face combat with deadly tools and where you can fight like a savage ninja, then definitely check out Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice on the Steam Deck. Once again, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice is now $30 due to a 50% discount. Now up next is No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky was $60, but with a 60% discount, it is now a whopping $24. Now, No Man's Sky is an action-adventure galaxy game where you get to explore, you get to engage in combat, you also get to go around and mine and obtain various resources, as well as you get to build various bases. It is a really fun game where you can easily pick up and drop whenever, whether you want to play with your friends or play by yourself. It is something that is just really fun and really engaging if you're somebody who just loves these type of survival games where you get to explore the environment in a galaxy world. So yeah, No Man's Sky, once again, it is now $24 due to a 60% discount. Now up next is Elden Ring. Elden Ring originally was $60, but with a 40% discount, it is now only $36. Elden Ring is a masterpiece, an RPG challenging game with tough enemies, tough bosses, as well as a beautiful world to roam around. What's cool about Elden Ring is that there are a whooping 10 different classes to choose from, which brings about a diverse variety of how you will experience and feel in Elden Ring. So the gameplay possibilities are just pretty much endless, and not to mention there is also a vast open world environment that is also engaging, intriguing, and interesting to explore as well. On top of this, what I also love about Elden Ring is that there are various multiplayer modes. You can choose to do, 3-player co-op in which you and 2 other friends just go about this open world to tackle the environment and whatnot, as well as you also get to do those PvP duels. So yeah, if you really love open world games which has tough enemies, tough bosses, as well as there is a amazing world to explore and where the possibilities are endless, definitely check out Elden Ring on your Steam Deck. Now up next is Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk 2077 originally cost $60, but with a 60% discount, it is now $24. This game is a first-person action RPG game set in the fictional futuristic city called Night City, where there are tons of danger. What I love about Cyberpunk 2077 is the beautiful world that you get to explore, which is extremely immersive. It just feels as if I'm currently out and about, whether it is on a mission out of civilization or doing business in a city and roaming around. As well as, I really love how there is a diverse amount of weapons, skills, and abilities. And on top of that, a diverse of things to do in Cyberpunk 2077. You can hack, you can park hour, you can engage in dialogue options, as well as do many more. So yeah, if you love these action games that are flashy and have interesting characters to engage with, as well as a beautiful landscape and having so much to do, definitely check out Cyberpunk 2077 on your Steam Deck. Now up next is Dead Cells. Dead Cells originally was $25, but with a 50% discount, it is now $12.49. Dead Cells is a roguelike action platformer game where you get to explore a procedurally generated castle that constantly transforms. Dead Cells is described as a 2D Souls-like in which it is just really challenging and where the enemies can be really merciless and really aggressive, as well as really interesting bosses that also could be really challenging as well, in a sense that even if you recognize the boss's moveset, recognize the boss's habits, and know how to tackle them, there is still a possibility that some of the bosses may still be a struggle for you to conquer. So yeah, it is a really challenging platformer in which I wouldn't recommend for people that are beginners and casual gamers, but if you are somebody who is just really wanting to test your skills and is really patient to learn on how to play a game, what I mean by how to play a game means how to do the fundamentals well, but also the ropes of it, and be patient even if you will potentially die a lot in the beginning and learn from your mistakes. If you love all that and you really love roguelike platformer games where there are punishing enemies, then definitely check out Dead Cells on the Steam Deck. Now up next is Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima originally was $60, but with a 33% discount, it is now $40.19. Ghost of Tsushima. This game is a action adventure game where you get to play as Jin Sakai, a samurai, where him and his uncle Lord Shimura starts out, fighting off those different Mongols on the beach. However, they are severely defeated, where Jin miraculously is saved and Lord Shimura is captured by the Kotu Khan, which is the leader of the Mongols, and held hostage. Now you, as Jin, since you love your uncle Lord Shimura, and where Lord Shimura is the only family member that is still alive, you decide to go on this mission to save your uncle. However, little did you know that as you go on this mission, it becomes much more than saving your uncle. As you go about this mission to save your uncle, along with those people around you who support and believe in you, you end up doing much more than saving your uncle, but also learn yourself more. Learn that it's really important to save people instead of being strict and religious in the samurai code of honor. It's just a very emotional story about friendship and doing all it takes to save those around you, to care for those around you, to value life to its fullest. Now, what I really love about Ghost of Tsushima is the side activities that you get to do. The side quest called Tales of Tsushima, even though it is optional, but I highly recommend playing all those Tales of Tsushima, experiencing them to the fullest, because you get to understand those different stories as you bond with those different people around you that mean a lot to you. As well as what I also love is how there is a deep lore in those mystic tales and whatnot, and also what I really enjoy is on top of that, there are also a lot of things to do in the open world aspect of Ghost of Tsushima, whether it is engaging in those bamboo strikes, as well as going into those different hot springs and just reflecting on life. It just brings about those different immersion in this beautiful world of Tsushima Island. As well as what I really love about Iki Island, which is the DLC that is included in Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, is that it also further brings about Jin's healings from his past wounds. That is also something that's just really emotional. But anyways, if you really love action games where there is a lot of things to do in the game and where there's an emotional story that really teaches you a lot about life and speaks to you in many different ways, definitely check out Ghost of Tsushima on the Steam Deck. Now up next is GTA 5. GTA 5 originally was $30, but with a 50% discount, it is now $15. GTA 5, you get to traverse either in vehicles or by foot, and you get to complete various missions, which consists of shooting and driving, as well as you get to explore this fictional city called Los Santos, based on, present day Los Angeles. As well as what I really love also is that you also get to explore the countryside, which consists of towns, farms, mountains, and many more, and you get to do everything you can to your disposable. Now, just as a heads up, GTA 5, even though it says unsupported on the Steam Deck, it is rated as unsupported, but it still runs on the Steam Deck. The unsupported badge just means that GTA Online does not work. The campaign is totally playable, just as a heads up. But anyways, if you love these type of games where there is an open world aspect to it and where you can just go around stealing those different cars, driving them, treating it as if it is your city, definitely check out GTA 5 on the Steam Deck. Now up next is Lost Judgment. Lost Judgment originally was $60, but with a 70% discount, it is now $18. Lost Judgment, in this game, you play as Takayuki Yagami, an ex-lawyer who is now a detective and who has to investigate a bully/suicide case that is primarily based in a high school. Now, what I love about Lost Judgment is that there are plenty of unexpected plot twists as well as a very thrilling adventure that you get to embark in. I also love where you get to go around those Japanese streets while beating up various thugs, as well as what I also love is that there are plenty of side things to do, most notably the side quests as well as school stories. In Lost Judgment, when you embark on those different side quests, there are many, not all the side quests, but many of the side quests, they will not open up unless you access an app on your phone where you navigate and track down something before the side quest is being able to access. So that is something that I find is really cool because it really shows the life of how a detective ought to operate. A detective a lot of times has to find different cues in order to solve different mysteries. Now, the side quests, they also have different stories that are really, really touching. It just brings a lot of different valuable lessons that really teach me in different ways and speaks to me in different ways, as well as I also love going in with the school stories because Yagami, in case you don't know, he is somebody that is about 40 years old, and as those different high school kids, it may be hard for him to relate to the high school kids because people in the Gen X generation and the Gen Zs, they are much different as far as technology goes, as far as lifestyle goes. So what I really love about this game with Yagami, as far as the school story goes, is that he really am submerging his life to understand the people that are younger, the younger people, also teaching him different ways of living and him also motivating the kids to also become a better person, to mature better in life, because he has obviously been living life much longer than them. So that is something that I also find really precious in the school stories, is that I'm somebody who may be in their early 30s, but at the same time I can learn from people that are much younger, but I also can be somebody who learn from people that are much older. There are always these type of value that various generations bring. One thing I don't like about Lost Judgment is that they took away some features from the previous game Judgment. I mean, one notable thing that I loved about Judgment was where there is this health bar where if Yagami gets wounded to a certain point, it will deplete his maximum health and he needs to go find a cure by an underground doctor or just heal it by finding specific aid kits and stuff. I won't give you any spoilers. All I'm gonna say is that is something that I really loved in the first game, and I am just really disappointed that it didn't include that in the second game. But anyways, if you are somebody who loves those Yakuza games and you love going around fighting up these different thugs, you like these type of action type of games, as well as you love games that speak to you in many different ways, definitely check out Lost Judgment on the Steam Deck. Now up next is God of War 2018. God of War 2018 originally was $50, but now with a 60% discount, it is only $20. God of War 2018. This is a fun, action-packed adventure game with an amazing story where you play as Kratos, the iconic God of War franchise figure, whose wife, Faye, unfortunately passes away, leaving him and his son Atreus as part of the family. Now, to give the last respects to Faye, to pay the last honors, Kratos and Atreus protagonist goes on a journey to the highest point of the 9 realm based on Norse mythology to spread the ashes of Fae. Throughout the journey, there are plenty of moments where Kratos taught Atreus how to grow and mature into a man both physically and mentally, which were quite impactful. As for the action side of things, there are plenty of enemies to fight with various weapons such as the Leviathan Axe and later the Blades of Chaos, each having their strengths and weaknesses. God of War 2018 also has RPG elements where you can tinker your gear as well as learn new skills in fighting. So yeah, if you love these action-packed games with an impactful story and a beautiful world where you will be immersed in, definitely check out God of War 2018 on your Steam deck. Now up next is Overcooked All You Can Eat. Overcooked All You Can Eat was $40, but with a 66% discount, it is now $13.59. Overcooked All You Can Eat includes both Overcooked 1 as well as Overcooked 2. 2 for the price of 1, baby! In Overcooked, this collection, you get to work together as chefs up to 4 players, and you get to prepare those different meals, and where your goal is to finish those different orders, as many as you can before the timer runs out. And in the meantime, as you prepare those different meals, there are various obstacles and various unexpected events that can happen that could potentially slow down your progress, but in the same time, you must strategize and plan and do all it takes to avoid and overcome those different obstacles and still be able to prepare as many meals before the time runs out. So yeah, if you really love these type of cooking simulators where you get to play with your friends and where you get to cooperatively exercise teamwork and make the dream work in the restaurant, definitely check out Overcooked All You Can Eat on the Steam deck. Now up next is Persona 5 Royal. Persona 5 Royal originally was $60, but with a 60% discount, it is now $24. In Persona 5 Royal, you play as a high school protagonist codenamed Joker who is wrongfully accused of special misconduct and sent to Shuten Academy for an entire school year due to probation. At the school, he gets to meet new friends, and suddenly they all witness a mysterious app being planted in their phones, which give them access to the metaverse, aka the cognitive realm of corrupt adults where the friends must fight the shadows in there and quote-unquote steal their treasure, which forces a change of heart in which the individual will confess his or her crimes in real life. What I love about this game is that it is a perfect blend between turn-based RPG as well as high school simulation, because the thing about Persona 5 Royal is that even though a lot of it involves you going in those different dungeons where you fight those different shadows to cause a change of heart in those different corrupt adults, but also a lot of the game involves you being a high school student going to school, studying, as well as taking those different tests where you're able to increase and rank up those different stats. And what I also really love about Persona 5 Royal is to spend time with your friends. It really teaches me and motivates me on how I can be a light to my friends and how I can be somebody who can be a better leader in my circle of influence. Before playing Persona 5 Royal, I know many of you are like me who do not like to look at gameplay and do not like to look at that because you're afraid of getting spoilers. I get it, but for this game, in order to be somebody who wants to experience the maximum amount of fun, you have to look online to see at least which specific characters you have to prioritize in building relationship in, because if you don't, then you will end up having the same exact ending to the original game that was released back in 2016. So that is just something that is worth noting. But anyways, if you are somebody who loves these JRPG games where there is a whole bunch of fighting, where there is also a whole bunch of great characters as well as an amazing story where it brings about all these different life lessons that will speak to you in many different ways, and you also love games that have amazing soundtracks that bring about extra spice to the vibe of the game, definitely check out Persona 5 Royal on the Steam deck. Now up next is Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves originally was $40, but with a 50% discount, it is now $20. Sea of Thieves is a major pirate game where you get to go around and obtain lost treasures and where you can engage in intense battles as well as demolish monsters on the sea and many more as a pirate. It is a really fun, engaging multiplayer game in which you and your friends get to explore this open world and also look for different resources such as food to restore your health, like bananas and mangoes to name a few, as well as you can also go about in this open world environment at your disposal to find crucial weaponry in order to restock, fire bombs as well as cannonballs. Yeah, it is a really beautiful world to explore and live the pirate life. So if all that sounds really interesting and engaging to you, as well as you love a game in which you can easily pick up and drop whenever, like somebody like me who likes to play a lot of single player games and want to play these type of games just to hang out with their friends and explore and marvel at the game, but at the same time do not want to commit to have to play it a certain amount of hours, can play as little and as much as you want, definitely check out Sea of Thieves on the Steam Deck. Now up next is Yakuza 6 The Song of Life. Yakuza 6 The Song of Life originally was $20, but with a 45% discount, it is now $11. In Yakuza 6, you play as Kazuma Kiryu, who just got out of prison and realizes that his daughter is in a coma due to a hit-and-run collision, leaving her baby son, aka Kiryu's grandson, alive and without the nurture of his mother. So you, as Kiryu, must take full responsibility by caring for your grandson like how a great father ought to treat his son, while discovering the dark secrets and truths tied to your daughter as well as your grandson. On top of that, you will also uncover the secrets of the Hiroshima Yakuza. There are plenty of various side quests that are also impactful to me as well, in which they taught me so much about life. What I love about this game is you get to beat up those various hordes of gangs or low-lifers along the streets of Japan, and what I really love in the process of beating them up is the bringing of those different dialogues where the gang members mock the MC, in which I find quite funny at times. Now, as you progress, what I also love about the gameplay style is that you get to upgrade your skills, which makes you stronger and being able to take down much tougher enemies as well. So yeah, if you love these games where there's a whole bunch of action to it, as well as you love these Yakuza games where there is this gang life in Japan, as well as you also love these games that have a touching and beautiful story to it, definitely check out Yakuza 6 The Song of Life on your Steam Deck. Now up next is Middle-earth Shadow Bundle. Middle-earth Shadow Bundle includes both Middle-earth games, aka Shadow of War as well as Shadow of Mordor. As well as in this Middle-earth Shadow Bundle, it also includes the important DLCs from both games. Now the bundle originally was $70, which I already believe is totally worth it, as I spent more than 70 hours playing both games combined as well as the DLC, and I enjoyed every second of playing. I never felt bored or felt like the gameplay was grindy. But now with a 90% discount, it is only $7. What I love about Shadow of Mordor is how you get to fight those different enemies, as well as there is a beautiful place to just explore that is heavily engaging if you're somebody who loves Lord of the Rings and loves The Hobbit, as well as there are also different side quests that really enhance the story, as well as a beautiful soundtrack that wraps everything that I mentioned together. But what I really am glad about Shadow of Mordor, what I really think really stands out compared to other beautiful open world games, is the Nemesis system. In Shadow of Mordor, you get to track down different Uriks, and where you get to defeat those different captains, and where if you defeat those different captains, it will cause the captain's goons to be weakened. However, if you get killed by the captains, then it will cause the Uriks to level up. So it is something in which you gotta prep, you gotta strategize before you take on a captain, because if you keep dying, it may come to a point where the game will be very much unplayable because the the enemies get so high level and you are completely under leveled and you cannot play the game anymore, and unfortunately you have to start over. So that is something that you do not want to do. So yeah, Shadow of Mordor is a really great game for people like me who are Lord of the Rings enthusiasts. It is something that is just really great and really subversive. Now, as far as Shadow of War goes, I love Shadow of War so much more than Shadow of Mordor. It is just the bigger brother to Shadow of Mordor, with a much bigger world to explore, a much bigger world to roam, as well as different enemies to fight, as well as there are also more side quests, and as well as there's also a bigger and better variety of weapons. That's what I really love about Shadow of War. But what I am impressed mostly about Monolith Productions is buffing the Nemesis system in Shadow of War. What I love about the Nemesis system in Shadow of War is that enemies are able to be dominated. When dominating an enemy, the enemy can be sent to eavesdrop different war chiefs and bring back intel to Talion. As well as what's cool about being dominated is that those enemies, they can continue to be your friend or later on betray you and become a foe depending on how you treat them. Like for example, if during a battle you decide to protect them in the battle, they will continue to be your friend. But if you abandon them, then they will become your foes. So this is a game in which it is just so much more polished than Shadow of Mordor. It really feels as if Shadow of War, the gameplay side of things, is what Shadow of Mordor was meant to be. So yeah, that is something that is just so remarkable. If you are somebody who loves Lord of the Rings and Hobbit, you will love Shadow of War. If you are somebody who just loves open world games and the action side of things, you will love Shadow of War. It is just a game that I believe is just meant for everybody. Definitely check out Shadow of War on the Steam Deck! Now up next is Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley originally was $15, but with a 40% discount, it is now only $9. Stardew Valley is an iconic farm simulator. In this game, you get to create a character where he or she inherits the land and a house in a small village called Pelican Town, which is located in, you know it, Stardew Valley. What's cool about this game is that you get to engage in your imagination of what life ought to be as if you are working in the farmland, whether it is going fishing, whether it is cooking, whether it is crafting, or exploring procedurally generated caves to fight off various enemies, which are also adorable by the way, and also collect those various resources to tame your farm and to live your life for the better. What I also love about Stardew Valley is you get to engage and make various friends with different NPCs in town, kind of like how if you lived on a farmland, everybody kind of just becomes friends with everybody and everybody's just friendly and whatnot. It just brings about that kind of vibe, this kind of farm life simulation. As well as what I also love about Stardew Valley is that you also will be able to plant different crops, which is also realistic as well, because as you consume the different foods, it will grant various buffs which help you to be more energized and tackle on certain activities throughout the day. So that is something that's also really cool as well and very realistic as well. It really paints the life as if you are living in a small village in the countryside. So yeah, if you really love farm simulation games where your imagination is just endless, where you create the story of the game and where you imagine to be somebody who is living in a farm-like village, definitely check out Stardew Valley on the Steam Deck. Now up next is Valheim. Valheim originally was $20, but with a 50% discount, it is now $10. Valheim is a beautiful open world survival RPG game where you get to build, fight, conquer different enemies, and it is set in a Viking vibed island where you also get to gather different resources such as, farming, such as hunting, such as going mining, to do all it takes to get the proper resources in order to build your land. What I love about Valheim is that, you can take your time to build your land while at the same time it also blends in where you get to fight those different enemies and also be able to marvel at this beautiful fantasy world. I mean, this is just something that is just really nice. And if you have a really massive brain and where you are very good at imagining things, you have a big sense of imagination, Valheim is just perfect, because a lot of people that play Valheim, they just get addicted in building their land and where they can easily easily spend 100, 1,000, or hell, even 10,000 hours to play Valheim in order to enjoy and just get submerged in the Viking world. So yeah, if you love these type of building games as well as you love these type of open world games where you get to do things in a very non-linear format and where it is very timeless and your possibilities are endless, definitely check out Valheim on the Steam Deck. Now up next is Hades. Hades originally was $25, but with a 60% discount, it is now $10. Hades is a roguelike dungeon crawler game where you play as Zagreus, who is the son of, you know it, Hades. Since Hades is a very unforgiving father and Zagreus is tired of his father, he decides that he wants to escape the underworld. So you as Zagreus, you have to do all it takes to escape the underworld in order to get to the mortal world in order to reside with your mother. What I really love about Hades is the hack and slash element. I love just going in there and fighting various hordes of enemies, as well as what I really love about Hades is also the different interesting boss fights that you got to do in order to progress in the underworld. So that is something that is also very interesting and very engaging, as well as really love the soundtrack of Hades. The music just brings about the vibe of the atmosphere of the game and what's going on in the game. So yeah, if you really love a beautiful indie roguelike dungeon crawler game, definitely check out Hades on the Steam Deck. Now up next is Deep Rock Galactic. Deep Rock Galactic is originally $30, but with a 67% discount, it is now only at $9.89. Deep Rock Galactic is a first-person shooter co-op game where you get to play as dwarfs. You know, you and 3 other friends get to play as dwarfs, where you get to explore a procedurally generated galactic world filled with caves and various types of missions. What I love about this game is where you get to mine to get those various resources, as well as you get to use those resources to repair those various equipments. It's just a very fun, cooperative, engaging game, as well as it just brings about imagination, you know, because who doesn't want to be in space? Who doesn't want to be spending time with their friends in space and just exploring those various types of caves and while embarking on those different missions? So yeah, if you're looking for a cooperative game to play on your Steam Deck, I highly recommend Deep Rock Galactic. Now up next is A Way Out. A Way Out is originally $30, but with an 85% discount, it is now $4.49. A Way Out is a co-op adventure game where you and your friend get to each play as prisoners who must escape prison because you and your friend both believe that you are wrongfully jailed by a mutual culprit, which pins his guilt on the both of you. Yes, very tragic and very terrible. Now, what I really love about A Way Out is that even though the title suggests that it is just escaping the prison, hence the name A Way Out, but it is much more than just a way to free yourself out from the prison. As you assist the characters to escape, there will be also these different unexpected events as you go about this journey to confront the culprit and settle things once and for all. There are all these different plot twists and unexpected turn of events that just keeps me on my feet, and where it just brings about the spice of this co-op adventure where you have to always work together to make sure that both of you will be able to be free, and where it is a win-win situation. So yeah, if you really love these type of co-op adventure thrillers where at a point where it could be just peaceful, but at another point it could be really intense where you are in a gunfire, you know, major chaotic battle, if you love these kind of stuffs and where you will have the adventures of your lifetime, definitely check out A Way Out on the Steam Deck. It will definitely not disappoint. Now up next is Undertale. Undertale originally was $10, but with a whooping 90% discount, it is now a freaking only $1 game. Undertale is a top-down RPG game where you get to play as a child who unfortunately falls into the underground. The underground is a place where basically it is an isolated area separated from the earth from a magical barrier. Now, what I really love about Undertale is there are plenty of towns and caves to explore, as well as solve those various puzzles, as well as there are also various enemies and monsters to encounter, and where the monsters you can choose to whether kill them, whether to run away from them, or whether to befriend them. And what is really interesting about these different choices, these different options, whether to kill them, whether to run away from them, whether to befriend them, is that no matter what choice you pick, it will greatly affect the plot of the game, and it will lead to various different types of endings. So yeah, if you really love these type of retro vibe type of games where there is a whole bunch of different places to explore, as well as there's an awesome story with a whole bunch of different endings, definitely check out Undertale on the Steam Deck. Now up next is A Short Hike. A Short Hike originally was $8, but with a 45% discount, it is now $4.39. In this game, you play as Claire, who is a young bird who visits her aunt named May, who is a ranger at Hawk Peak Providential Park. As far as the park goes, there is no cellular service except at the very tip-top peak of the mountain. Now, as far as you as Claire, you have a important call that you're expecting, so you must do all it takes to venture up to the peak in order to receive the call. Now, as far as the game goes, it all involves you going all the way up to the peak. That is the main plot of the story. But as far as going on the adventure, you will meet those different NPCs where you can embark on those different quests that will help you along the way. There are those different quests that you gotta do in which you can earn feathers, which by the way is also very crucial because those different feathers, they help you with your endurance. They help you become stronger and be able to fly higher to achieve those different heights that you need to progress in the game or access different areas that you cannot access before. As well as what I really love about A Short Hike is that there are also treasures that you can find along the way in which you have to solve mysteries by solving riddles. That is also something that I find really interesting because riddles nowadays, that's not something that most people really do much nowadays. So I'm happy that they brought that into the game. So yeah, if you really love colorful, cozy games in which you get to engage with cute NPCs, as well as you love games in which you get to explore and also find those different hidden treasures and go about those different hidden areas and whatnot, definitely check out A Short Hike on the Steam Deck. Now up next is Blasphemous. Blasphemous originally was $25, but with an 80% discount is now only $5. Blasphemous is a brutal hack and slash platformer with graphic thriller vibes to it. What's crucial to progress in Blasphemous is to learn your enemy's attack patterns and also when and what and how to defeat them. Now there is no autosave feature, so unfortunately you will have to do your best to stay alive and just explore all the way till you reach a checkpoint before you can manually save. So yeah, if you're somebody who is new to platformers, this game probably may not be the best for you, but if you're somebody who is up for a challenge and loves the art style of graphic thriller vibes, then definitely check out Blasphemous. Blasphemous originally was $25, but with an 80% discount, it is now only $5. Now up next is Celeste. Celeste originally was $20, but with a 75% discount, it is now only $5. In this game, you play as Madeline, who has insecurities and where she needs to find security and find healing, and in order to do that, she decides to go on this journey to hike to the peak of Celeste Mountain in order to heal herself. And little did she know, as she hike up Celeste Mountain, as you accompany her, you will get to meet interesting NPCs where they will teach her about life, whether it is for the good or for the bad. And whereas you get to accompany her, you also get to witness her experiencing breakthrough, where she gets to break from her cage of her negative inner self. It is a very emotional game where you get to platform up the mountain and where you also get to learn more about Celeste and just cheer her on in her journey for self-discovery. But also what I love about Celeste is that there are also various secret areas in the game where you get those secret items months. So yeah, if you want a game that is really beautiful, as well as it has a beautiful soundtrack and where it could be challenging at times, but also where the characters may potentially motivate you in order to become a better person, definitely check out Celeste on the Steam Deck. Alright guys, these are some of the hefty discounted games that I highly recommend you to check out in the spring sale. Let me know in the comment section below, are there any other great games that you recommend me to check out that I have not mentioned in the video? And as always, if you love gaming lists, gaming reviews, gaming discussions, and everything related to the Steam Deck, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe so you not miss another video. I try to post Mondays and Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific time, so stay tuned. Once again, my name is Joey from the Nomadic Gaming Guild, and game on!